Let's take a look at those next 6 fixtures, Don. How many points do they need to convince you that they are title contenders from these ties?
Oh, quite a few. I mean, I would imagine the Chelsea and Wolves games. Chelsea are just starting to come back into a little bit of form, but I think those 2 games in the immediate future, not many people around the world will probably realise how good Aston Villa are under Unai Emery. They are a really, really good side. Then you look at Man City, then you look at West Ham and London Derby, and then Newcastle. So I think you're probably looking at about 12 points there, Dan. If they take 12 points-ish from that, you know, and they could really convince a lot of people on the way that they could be here to stay. I think in the immediate future, you know, while there's no Champions League football and you can spend time on the grass, I think Tottenham fans probably at a certain point probably now would bite your hands off for top 4. But if they're taking 3 points for quite a few of them fixtures, 4 might turn into 3, and then all of a sudden they might be in a title race. What do you think, Steve?
I'm with Don. 4 wins out of 6.
Yeah.
Man City, losing to Man City would be acceptable, as would be Newcastle. You know, teams that we think are going to be in the top 4. But the other ones, if you want to be A, challenging and be in the top 4, you have to win the other ones. The Chelsea, the Wolves, the Villa. And can't remember what the other one was, but those 4.
West Ham, was it?
West Ham. You got to win those 4 to contend. No question, you got to win at least 4 of those 6. But to be in the top 4, again, you need to win 4 of the 6 because the other 2 are acceptable if you come out the wrong side.
And let's take a look at the odds, shall we, then, for the top 4, Ali? Okay. What do you think?
Spurs? I'd say top 4, yeah.
Right.
The way that they're playing right now, and they're finding a consistency that I think should be encouraging for Spurs players and Spurs fans alike. Here's what I would say about today's game. You say it's instantly forgettable, and yes, it is. But the one thing that I think Spurs can gain from this game against Crystal Palace is the fact that in years past, this would have been an example of a game in which they would have dropped points because they were underwhelming, because they didn't create as many opportunities, because they weren't nearly as good as they had been up until that point. Today, this season, different year, different story, they get the 3 points and move on. If they can do that in those matches that Stevie's talking about, Aston Villa and West Ham and so on and so forth, they don't care how they go about it. It is getting to the point to where Spurs just needs to win games and have everybody else worry about them, just like they're going to worry about them going into the weekend. Now Spurs are 5 points ahead. Everybody else needs to play, and they're having to keep up with Spurs. That's a great place to be. So from that perspective, as I said, top 4 very much in play for Spurs. It's a realistic goal, and at this point, they should be shooting for something higher than that.